What's up, guys? Centurion1307 here, and it is that time again. Time to check out a new incoming game. Today's highlight is the beautifully strange Russian action RPG Atomic Heart. Since its first trailer in May of 2018, Atomic Heart has captivated audiences with its alternate history take on Russia during the time of the USSR. For starters, in this alternate timeline, the USSR wants to push science and technology to new heights by creating the Science of Medicine Academy Research Institute of the USSR in the Nature of Intellect department. Okay, that was a little bit of a mouthful, I will admit. Time for round 2, pronunciation of Russian names. By 1937, Dmitry Sergeyevich Sheshenov, just getting his PhD, is put in charge of the institute. The Research Institute commits Project Crowdman, the aim of which becomes to create a new type of human who has no individualism or private life. The character of Sechenov appears to be in tribute of Russian father of physiology, Ivan Sechenov. Ivan Sechenov pushed the concepts of human neurological science. His work laid the foundations for the study of human brain reflexes and animal and human behavior. He pioneered the concepts of electrophysiology and neurophysiology into the teachings of medicine. Moving back to the story of Atomic Heart, Dmitry is charged by the USSR to restore the former effectiveness of research work in the institute. In another timeline twist, by 1939, Russia starts World War II and had won by 1941 using robots and weapons created in the Institute's main research facility, number 3826. The winning of World War II did come with massive human casualties all across Russia and surrounding Europe. As a result, the robot tech created for the war was then integrated to providing the workforce that was needed due to lack of available living people. This made it to where all aspects of life are done by robots: forestry, medicine, housekeeping, security, mining, farming, etc. All robots. By 1948, the Facility 3826 has created a hive mind called the Collective 1.0 Neural Network to maintain and control the robot workforce. This hive mind allowed the USSR to start mass manufacturing and distribution of robots to surrounding countries. By the early 1950s, with marvels like robots and the internet already available in Russia, Sechenov turns his sight to ridding his creations of their cybernetic shells with true life and mimicry with his process of mimicry-like adaptation. The process of the extraction of stable neuropolymer lattice from living creatures. Joining him in his quest are two scientists named Dr. Pavlov and Dr. Vavilon. But they aren't just using their ideas, they're continuing the research of a possible German Nazi scientist, Dr. Stockhausen. Stockhausen was a mad scientist who liked to play with reanimated tissue. By combining Stockhausen's research with materials brought back from the moon, Sechenov and his scientists have been able to mess with the DNA of human, animal, and plant species into what they call non-Earth celestial objects. Interesting part about all this lore so far is it lines right up with how that part of the world was faring during those times. It's no secret that after World War II, the United States, the UK, and Russia were all trying to get their hands on all German scientists and scientific data, no matter how dark and destructive the research could be. Big example in today's world is Robert Oppenheimer back in the day using native German-born Albert Einstein's theories to build the atom bomb that ended World War II. In Atomic Heart, the year is now 1955, and the USSR now wants to globally launch the Neural Network Collective 3.0 to the rest of the world, at the same time rolling out some mandatory vaccine that is called the Universal Polymer Vaccine. This all plans to start on Sechenov's 55th birthday, Monday, June 13th, 1955. But of course, there's an accident at Facility 3826, and the robots are rampaging and the experiments are getting loose. Now we get to meet our protagonist and main character of Atomic Heart, Major Nechev. As a special duty officer and private agent of Professor Sechenov, he excels in handling complicated situations, sometimes violently. Nechev dedicated his whole life to the service, and in return, all he's got is deep loneliness and numerous wounds, both physical and mental. His codename P3 stands for plutonium, the third discovered radioactive element. It was assigned to Major Nechev after he ended up severely wounded in Professor Sechenov's lab. P3's injuries were extensive, both hands broken up to the elbows, his left leg completely shattered, and head trauma giving him a severe concussion. Sechenov personally augmented P3 with metal prosthesis and restored his brain activity, but P3 still suffers fractional memory loss and has never fully recovered the memories of his past. He also suffers from PTSD, passionately believing that he is dangerous and unstable. It is P3's job to discover what happened at 3826 and make sure any and all negative implications are contained. P3 won't be empty-handed. After all, this is a combat-based game. P3 will be able to craft over 30 different weapon types from melee to firepower using what is called the Chaika 3.0 crafting device. I want to point out that the crafted weapons in Atomic Heart look well thought out and engineered with purpose. Each component of the weapon looks like it has a purpose and reason to the weapon's existence. From what I see, most weapons should have a secondary fire option to get creative, but P3's main tool in his arsenal is his polymer glove. The polymer glove was Sechenov's last gift to P3. It is the cutting-edge technological innovation that easily absorbs new polymers and provides experimental combat abilities. The glove, or the polymer manipulator, is powered through batteries implanted in P3's jumpsuit and used through a universal port in his hand. The implant, when connected with the neural system and soft tissues, can be controlled with the force of mind using the electrical impulses of neurons, and also guarantees instant absorption of polymers by the user's body. From gameplay, it appears that ammo will be in short supply, giving a heavy emphasis on melee combat and sneaking. But what exactly are we fighting or sneaking from? Well, let's just start with you find yourself on the grounds of 3826 and robots performing tasks of all sorts continue to perform their jobs till something with a pulse walks by. Then the robots turn into this frenzy of attacks that can become overwhelming very quickly. I must point out the combat of Atomic Heart almost appears Dark Souls in nature. Not only do you have to plan your attacks accordingly, but you need to be strategic in your attacks. You need to become familiar of when to conserve ammo by sneaking around and learning to time when to strike or block an enemy's attacks in melee combat. To add flavor to these experiences, MundFish has built-in quick-time events for finisher moves and escapes when you're grabbed by enemies, so brush up on your controller awareness skills. Now, crazy robots aren't your only foes. Obviously, you're going to have run-ins with the scientists of 3826, but remember those non-Earth celestial objects we talked about earlier? This is where I tell you there is a fair amount of enemies that want your brain too. From everyday zombie hordes to flying plant brain parasites, all rounded out with walking, talking nerve tentacle monsters. Facility 3826 has a wide variety of enemies to contend with that have been cooked up in the lower labs. Be aware that according to MundFish, enemies will call reinforcements plus interact with other enemy types in different ways. In the trailers, we can see nerve monsters that have been taken over by parasitic plant creatures and moments of robots trying to exterminate the loose experimental creatures. This is where polymer research appears to come into play. With the polymer glove, P3 will be able to battle robots and other unworldly creations with some extraordinary unworldly powers. It shows in trailers that P3 will be able to freeze, throw, and have other powers all through the use of his polymer glove. It also does look like the glove goes beyond fighting and becomes more of a Swiss Army knife of sorts, being used for hacking and manipulating the tech of Facility 3826. This leads me to believe that outside of the normal food and beverages to maintain P3's health, but we also appear to have batteries we will use to maintain the polymer glove. The glove isn't the only tech P3 has been augmented with. He's seen in multiple gameplay trailers using some kind of scanning tech that has been put in his eyes. He can enter some kind of scanning mode to see what I believe is the electrical conductivity of the robots and creatures that stalk him in low light or even through walls and objects. I do wonder if this scanning tech is also another form of exploring your environment for secrets and clues. Backstory? Check. Characters and personality? Check. Variety of enemies and weapons types? Check. What do we need for all these great things? Location. Facility 3826 is a character in itself. The large rolling forests of the facility appear designed for all of the researchers and their families, with all the comforts of life built in and maintained, of course, by robots. From the colorful, detailed outside forest environments and rolling hills of flowers to the closed-in, claustrophobic, dark shadow-flooded hallways of the underground laboratories, there is a lot to explore in 3826. The strange and macabre nature of Atomic Heart has become a spectacle to admire. From theaters filled with crazy-looking clown robots, red jelly fluid dripping down walls, creature creation laboratories, animal research laboratories, floating water tunnels, whale aquariums, and even a robot showroom/sales floor, there is something around every corner to capture the imagination. The game BioShock gets compared to Atomic Heart a lot due to its game direction and world similarities. But unlike BioShock, MundFish wanted to keep the loading screens to a minimum and harness today's SSD hard drive tech in gaming by creating what they called a seamless level system. They want your movement through the world of Atomic Heart to be as seamless as possible, especially on newer hardware. To help P3 and you not feel lost or alone at 3826, in your ear you have Croz. Not much is known about Croz. Is he a scientist, another agent, or worse? We don't know. All we do know is P3 appears to rely on Croz's directions and knowledge of the facilities and what went on inside them. In other videos, we see P3 moving through the world in some kind of liquid or water tunnel system. This liquid is seen everywhere in Facility 3826, with fish moving through it, slowly consuming objects and even people, suspending them in some kind of state. Are they alive? Are they dead? I don't know, but we see P3 playing with this liquid in one of the trailers. He seems to be amusing himself by controlling the liquid's form with his mind. Is P3 pondering just what dark secrets he will uncover at 3826? Will they be secrets of his or the good Dr. Sechenov? Or maybe he will uncover something even darker. Atomic Heart has all the elements to be an instant success and establish itself as another prominent Russian game franchise like the Metro series. With beautiful, imaginative environments to explore, multiple enemy types to battle, and fleshed out, thought-provoking story, what could go wrong? Well, regrettably, Atomic Heart has been caught in a whirlwind of controversy off and on over the years since its conception. Its actual conception, that is, and according to MundFish social media, Atomic Heart was announced there around April 2017, following it up with a teaser trailer in July 2017. This brings us to controversy number 1. In the original teaser trailer for Atomic Heart, which is still up on YouTube by the way, at the end of the trailer under the game title Atomic Heart, it clearly states coming to PlayStation VR and Steam VR. A VR game of this magnitude would be massive now. Back in 2017, it would have been groundbreaking. Somewhere around May 2018, MundFish announced that Atomic Heart and its VR are now two completely separate games, with the VR game named Soviet Luna Park. To smooth over the confusion that was created from the original teaser, MundFish released Soviet Luna Park on Steam Early Access in July 2018. This starts controversy number 2. In its trailer and when you play Soviet Luna Park, it becomes clear that this game looks graphically nothing like Atomic Heart. The game was a heavy first-person shooter filled with robots and zombies to just spray lead into, perfect for its co-op mode. We also can't forget the mini-games that littered the world, ranging from a whack-a-mole with Russian hamsters to shooting seagulls down with a slingshot. I personally didn't play, but there's plenty of videos online from those who were able to play it. I say able because by December 2018, MundFish announced that they were halting all updates and patches for Soviet Luna Park, delisting the game and shutting down servers by March 2019. They did all this to focus on Atomic Heart. I've heard rumors that those who bought Soviet Luna Park now get a free copy of Atomic Heart somehow, but I don't know for sure. To help smooth this one over, MundFish releases a gameplay trailer for Atomic Heart in January 2019. This somehow opens yet another bag of issues for MundFish with controversy number 3. Not able to catch a break, MundFish finds themselves having to defend the gameplay video days after its release. In an article published in Russian and translated on Reset Era, it accuses Soviet Luna Park of being a cash grab and the Atomic Heart development of being in big trouble. The accusations ranged from management issues, layoffs, lack of direction, and having to reboot the game. Where the accusations dug deep was accusing the Atomic Heart gameplay of being linear and staged. The article states that in the gameplay, enemies followed predetermined paths and had no real AI, most of the gameplay was CG, and most sound effects and music were edited in. By this time, MundFish becomes defensive and starts looking into the legal aspects of the damaging accusations. In August 2018, to challenge the accusations head-on, MundFish invites resident game developer Richard Gray, aka Level Lord, to MundFish and see the development of Atomic Heart. Richard Gray, best known for his work on Duke Nukem and Quake, does a 17-minute interview that is on the Atomic Heart YouTube channel explaining how the game is real. He got to see the very gameplay in question, and yes, it worked as it was supposed to. The enemies not walking predetermined paths and had AI. The music and sounds weren't edited in, it looked and played like a real game. He is quoted in saying, "It's strange, but it will all make sense. It's not strange just to be strange." And the game is being worked on. Lots of work has been done. I must point out, in Richard Gray's interview, he states how he retired from game development long ago mainly due to how complex games were becoming to develop. He likes to work in small teams and stated how he didn't like having to deal with the larger teams needed for bigger projects. After his retirement, he claims that he lost all passion for gaming. He didn't want to make or play games anymore. He just states the uniqueness of Atomic Heart drew him in and captivated his imagination. He talks a little bit about how he gets to see how the games of today are made and reflecting on how things were done back in his day. The interview is definitely worth a watch, but be warned, Richard Gray is a blunt individual. By the end of the interview, Richard claims he is some supposed spokesperson for the game now, but in what capacity remains to be seen. Adding to the situation further, in October 2019, MundFish announced that Atomic Heart's beta and multiplayer were officially cancelled. MundFish lost a lot of the hype that was left for Atomic Heart as a subsequent result. In January 2020, new life is pumped into Atomic Heart by Russian game journalist Alexei Makarinkov, host of the 4Game YouTube channel. He was invited to have an almost 4-hour hands-on demo of Atomic Heart and its current build state. In the interview, they bring some of the rumors about the game center stage to challenge them head-on. Alexei shows us in his interview how he got to sit down at a PC at MundFish in Moscow and play the actual game on the Unreal Engine Developer Toolkit. The interview is a great wealth of info, but just know it's all spoken in Russian. Don't worry, it has subtitles for those interested. From this point, we don't see any big waves for Atomic Heart for over a year. But to make sure the game stays relevant, the developers at MundFish start documenting more of the game's creation on social media. They play around with CG effects filmed from all over Moscow, motion capture being used, showing off multiple prop weapons from Atomic Heart, and we can't forget the pictures of the new studio headquarters that they bought. The game truly appears to exist and is possibly closer to launch than we know. In the Xbox 2021 E3 presentation, we got to see Atomic Heart rise up back into public mindshare to some rather catchy Russian pop music. MundFish is claiming the game will release on last gen and current gen hardware, with Atomic Heart launching day one into Xbox GamePass. There currently is no established date of release set, but it looks like it should be 2022 at the latest. Let's be honest, MundFish has had to deal with some big ups and downs when it comes to Atomic Heart's development. Could we see any more issues pop up before release? We are, after all, dealing with a game about a possibly forced vaccine, bringing in implications of the real world of today. Is Atomic Heart's subject matter too harsh of a reality due to the pandemic and the mindset it created? With all the what-if situations surrounding Atomic Heart, we can totally see why MundFish is taking advantage of Game Pass. It will give anyone and everyone a chance to get hands-on with a game that was almost branded being non-existent. Well guys, I hope you made it this far and you're just as intrigued by this game as I am, but I also hope you're entertained by this emotional roller coaster I was taken on just learning about Atomic Heart and its development. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, as it helps me grow my channel. Remember to stay positive and healthy out there as best you can. I am Centurion 1307. Thanks for watching, fam.